Welcome, my Libra collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. Welcome to your Twin Flame read for July into August 2020 or Timeless. I am your reader. Angelo, Lyons, Mal for short, professional witch, professional intuitive, president of Drawing the Circle Productions, and Venus sign in Libra. Hi, my subscribers, welcome back. Thank you so much for your support, my YouTube journey. It's been a little over a year, although I had stuff up on the channel before that, but doing readings. It was at, oh my god, it was at Letha, Summer Solstice last year, 2019. So thank you all so much for helping me along. I'm learning as I go, and I'm just going to keep getting better. Why? Venus and Libra. Of course, that's why. That being said, if you are new to my channel, please do consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel, commenting below, and hitting that notification bell, because I am trying to the best of my ability with upload times and everything to put out content every single day, and I've been doing more of the live streams again. I started doing them, a lot of them, twice a day, actually, back in February, March. Gee, why would I be doing that then? But, you know, burned out on it, so I'm coming back little by little by little by little. Cool. So, welcome aboard. Let's get down to business. This is a general read. You hear it 10 billion times on YouTube. Please take what resonates, leave what doesn't. But that means really paying attention and participating with your intuition, not just letting it all go in, sifting through it, weighing it out. There you go. But not just the mind and the heart, check your gut, right? Because we're talking about a twin flame contract read. Twin flames are a form of soul contract. They're written into the characters that we play in these lives that the souls are chosen to incarnate into. I know, it's a different way of looking at it, but there are certain contracts that are just written into it, right? Like if you're an actor and you're reading not just the character description, but, you know, the plot line, you go, ooh, that's a real juicy part. Yeah, betray me, right? So that I learn until you're down here, right? So, different than a soulmate contract, there are some links in the description box below, a couple by me, one by Matt Kahn. His healing mantra deck will be the last card down for this spread. But we are looking at it as a twin flame contract. Tumultuous, transformative, where the foundation of it is that you're teaching each other how to heal yourselves, right? Not helping each other heal, that's soulmate. Teaching each other how to love yourselves by not giving you the love that you want them to give you. Doesn't mean that they don't love you, nor is it always romantic, sexual, nor do you only have one throughout all of your lifetimes. No. You can have many twin flame contracts in that context. My father was a twin flame contract. God rest his soul. We loved each other, but he wasn't down with having a gay witch for a son. I get it now. Right? 30 years later, pretty much, I understand. But my mom and I are soulmate contracts, right? So we help each other heal. And I'll get to the soulmate reads. They're my favorite, kind of, sort of. The twin flames, not so much. But if you're learning how to heal yourself in a relationship, it's good to have an idea of what's going on in the contract. So that's what we're doing. You will be on this side, my Libra collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Your twin will be on this side. None of that divine masculine, divine feminine stuff this time around. I think you'll dig the reading. But what I need you to do is breathe, particularly because you are an air sign. The more you're focused on the breath, the more you're going to be in the present moment, taking in what I'm saying, but also feeling how the energy moves through you as I go. And I will do the same on my end to get you clarity, guidance, and grace, which is what we all need right now on planet Earth. So let's do this. All the decks that I read are in the description box. All the way at the bottom, we're going to start with 2 Caroline Myss archetype decks. I'll call out the rest as I go. Give credit where credit is due. Be fair, be balanced, be breathing. Breathe. One more. There we go. Ready? Let's dive in. Oh, my collective pantheons of angels, goddesses, gods, masters, and the higher selves of all involved. Hi, yes, but I blessed the decks before I turned the camera on, so I'm already warmed up here, but please, let's do this. I need 2 cards, please. My collective pantheons, one representing the Libra collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign in this contract, and one representing the twin, please. So can I get the Libra first? Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign in this twin flame contract you want us to have a look at. July into August 2020 or Timeless. There's the Libra. Can you please give me the card to the archetype card, the dominant soul power being alchemized from lead to gold in the twin? July, August, Timeless, 2020, etc. Oh boy. Buckle up, because you, my Libra, are the Alchemist archetype, literally, at least symbolically, transforming, alchemizing the shadow into light, the lead into gold, and your twin flame, the vampire. I love what we do in the shadows, but that doesn't mean I want to date a vampire archetype. At least not one in the shadow. Now, look, there's literally the word codependency is printed on the card on this one, so let's unpack this and then we will build upon it. My Libra's the Alchemist. I love the Alchemist archetype, but in its shadow, like any other archetype, it's really toxic. And by the way, the vampire in its light is incredibly healthy, so there's a really good example of the neutrality of archetypes. Don't let the name trip you up. The shadow attribute of the Alchemist, misuse of the power and knowledge that comes through spiritual practice. Now, I'm a witch. You don't think that's tempting for me? Absolutely. It's so easy to turn someone's lead into gold, right? Sorry, reverse that gold into lead, right? To put someone down, right? To make them drop in vibration. It's a long story there. I can feel connected to that. So the shadow side of any archetype is toxic, but in the Alchemist, it's literally using your own spiritual practice and knowledge in order to manipulate and misuse that power that comes from that. But the light attribute, transformation of base motives and goals into golden wisdom. And that's the ability to take even the most mundane of tasks and imbue it with a spiritual power of transformation, extracting from it golden wisdom that cannot then be lost. Really good in a relationship. If you can look at the lead and the toxicity of your past relationship as just things asking to be healed within yourself and in the quantum and all of that, really, really helpful. But if you are dealing with a vampire archetype, and honey, I have dated, it feels like, well, I don't want to say half of Transylvania because that's an actual place, but you know what I mean. I've had so many, it was like I have become, I'm a little bit Buffy, I'm a little bit rock and roll, right? I've become quite the vampire slayer in my time, and I actually have a video that you can watch on YouTube called Vampires and Witches. It's an entire 2-hour just about class that I taught. Watch it for free. It's also on Vimeo. Oh, it's not on Vimeo. I took it down because I put it up on YouTube. The shadow attribute of the vampire, depleting others for your psychic survival. In other words, they can't access that chi and that prana as freely, so they got to suck it off other people. Chronic complaining and codependency. Oh, honey, that's the first sign for me of at least a psychic vampire. If you're not watching what we do in the shadows, what are you doing with your life? It's such a good show. Light attribute makes you aware that someone or something is draining your life force. So that, to me, is the vampire hunter. But then again, there's the vampire healer. And you have to know how to heal a vampire, but the vampire has to want to heal. Which is just so funny, because I've been watching, I'm re-binge watching True Blood on HBO Max. Bill! It's okay. Let's keep going. I have to keep these light. It's the only way I can do these twin flame reads. They're so freaking dramatic and dramatic. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 5 cards from the Daughters of the Moon Tarot and 5 cards from the Mythic Tarot to clarify an element spread on top of each of these archetypes to get you a little more clarity, guidance, and grace. And you know what? Since we got a vampire on the table with an alchemist, let's light a candle here. Can't hurt. Can't hurt unless I knock it over. Breathe. My gods and my goddesses, let's do this, because we're dealing with some alchemist with a vampire. They might already have the wisdom they need to deal with this. They just might not realize it. So please, my gods and goddesses sacred, 5-card element spread. I'll call them out one at a time. Please, in guidance, grace, and clarity, for this alchemist in this, this Libra alchemist in this Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign Libra twin flame contract, July into August 2020, or timeless. What is their element of fire? What do they want in this contract? Their element of earth, what is the fuel they have to get them what they want? Air, what are they predominantly thinking about this contract? Air, Water, what are they predominantly feeling in this contract? And spirit, what is the point of view of the soul who agreed to this contract upon incarnation or before incarnation? Now we're just going to do the same for this twin, your twin, the vampire here, so that I can flip over both sides element by element. Breathe. My gods, please, same thing for this vampire twin archetype in this Libra collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, Twin Flame contract. Element of fire, what does this vampire archetype want? Element of earth, what does this vampire have to help them get what they want? Element of air, what are they thinking? Element of water, what are they feeling? And element of spirit, what is the voice or the point of view of the soul that agreed to this contract? All right, we've got our left lane and our right lane. Before we're done, there will be a center lane defining the contract as a whole. W-H-O-L-E, hopefully not in your deck. Let's have a look-see-dook-see. Element of fire, what do you want? Oh, dear, dear, dear. Well, you've got the card of the lovers here. Aphrodite, literally her name on the card. So you might very well be romantically entangled, at least in the place of desire and wanting this. However, the Lover's card being major arcana is about a life change, a major life decision that will change your life. It's not, oh, should I have a macchiato or a cappuccino or a latte? Those are choices, essentially the same consequence. But this is a life-changing decision, and they've got the Queen of Swords, so they might be playing aloof. And that is one of the ways to steal energy. There's Intimidator, Interrogator, Aloof, and Poor Me. Check out, well, I talk about that in the Vampires and Witches video on my channel, and it's free. You can watch it. It's a good class. I would update it now with a lot of other stuff because I know you always learn more. But we're looking at Celestine Prophecy, James Redfield, if you haven't read it. It's not Message of the Mystics. It's the one on the chapter on competing energy. I think that's the third or the fourth insight. This is the stuff I remember. So the Aquarian card here. Now, it could be that they want to stay in the friend zone, but what they want is definitely some distance here. They're interestingly enough, it's the Aquarian card. You're a Libra here. So whether this person is a Libra or not, they're sort of being more in their head than in their heart. So they might not even be aware of a codependent tendency here unless it's sort of textbooky, if that makes sense. But the chronic complaining, keep an eye on for that because they're trying... no bueno. Well, you're dealing with a vampire archetype. Unless they're healed, right? Very, very tricky. What is it that you both have to get you what you want? Interesting. You've got the Hermit. So already 2 major arcana cards out of 5. So what you have right now is to pull back, right? So you need to see this from a higher perspective, right? The Hermit in traditional tarot climbs to the top of a mountain, eyes closed with a lantern. In other words, it's this type of seeing, not this type of seeing. Here we have the Kaliach, right? The crone riding a gray horse over a stone circle, we're going to guess is Stonehenge, still seeing things from that higher perspective. So this is not about you being alone or lonely. This is about you reaching a higher point of view here. And what they have with you here, or, to get this, is this 3 of Cups. So I really get that the two of you already have a relationship going on here. And I don't necessarily get that they realize they're draining your energy either. In other words, I'm not seeing that this is, intentional. And like I said, they're probably aware of what codependency is intellectually, but may not understand they're participating in codependent wounds, right? Because they have that sort of psychological distance, analytical distance, where it's all up here. It's not really being acknowledged in their own energy field. Living from the neck up, they just told me. Okay. So, very, very, very interesting here. What's going on in your element of air, which should be telling? The Aquarian card. The Aquarian card. So you're thinking about them an awful lot, I would say, as well as sort of indicating what the Hermit card here is talking about. See it from a higher place. Now, there might be some time and space in between the two of you. I'm getting for some of you, it might have been a while since you have been in the presence of this person. That's why your mind might be going toward them. And you have an opportunity now to alchemize golden wisdom out of your base experience. Like, if this was really codependent, I get it. There are wounds there. The four wounds, the four ego wounds, according to Matt Kahn, are abuse, neglect, codependency, and loss. And nobody gets away without wounds of loss. We all have those. But codependency, maybe you do, maybe you don't. And that's why we don't always are aware of it right away, because we're raised in the atmosphere of it. So what they've got, what's on their mind, is the Fool. So it might be that they are getting ready for a re-entry into your world. At least they're thinking about it, right? That taking the leap of faith. Now, I will say then that the feelings that they have for you are actually rather positive and very loving. Is there an opportunity here for some of you that this vampire might have done some healing work, might have done some introspection, but still, it could be that what they want in this is to really see the larger thing and have some kind of at least mental resolution. Perhaps an apology could play itself into this, but let's keep going and we'll see. What is the emotional here? Because, you know, twin flame contracts, a lot of it has to do with emotion. Well, you're sort of turning inward anyway. You've got the the 9 of blades, which is actually arrows in this deck. So there's criticism is what's written on the card. So very, very intense focus, and that can mean that you've not just been thinking about this person a lot, but it's really starting to get to you emotionally. That you're trying to get not just to the heart of the matter, but to get down into the detail of, all right, do you ever have an ingrown hair? I mean, who hasn't? And I don't, you know, you're not supposed to pluck the hairs out, but I do, because I'm a Virgo, right? And sometimes you got to hunt around, like if you got to get them down here. I have a little whorl, W-H-O-R-L here, really hard to shave. So, you know, it's sort of like hit and miss, but you can tell if there's still that little teeny tiny piece in there, because it hurts when you touch it. You know, when you pull it out and it doesn't. There. Bad Dermatology by Angelo, Lyons, Mal for short. But you sort of get the thing, it's like it's itching you. There is something unfinished here. Now, maybe what's unfinished here is your alchemization of whatever happened between the two of you into wisdom, right? Something that happened for you instead of to you. Because what's going on for them emotionally is the Ace of Wands, the Aries card, and pair that with the Fool. They're looking for a new beginning. Now, it might come through something impetuous. It might come from, like vampires do, it might come through a sexual advance. You know, vampires don't come in through the kitchen door. They come in through the bedroom window once you invite them in, right? Yes, you have to invite them in the front door, but then they come back through the bedroom window. One of the modalities of the vampire archetype is to use sensuality and sexuality as bait. They don't know that they're doing that, usually. Those are at least the ones that I think are a little easier to forgive, because they don't know. They're starving. The ones who do know, however, those are like predators, right? That is like the worst a vampire can be, is someone who's well aware of the dynamic and still goes hunting, right? Instead of doing, because essentially it's feeling cut off from source, right? You can't access the energy this way. You have to steal it that way. That's why the best way to get rid of a vampire is to bless the crap out of them from a distance. They can't handle energy freely given. They have to steal it. Tricky. Vampire Slayer, just call me Buffy. I loved the original movie. I mean, I liked the TV show, but the original movie was iconic to me. And no one talks about it, but that's okay. It's okay. I'm over it now. I still have Charmed, sort of. The voice of the soul is saying, honey, go in yourself. Almost every card here, yes, you're dealing with a decision. You may want very much to touch their stuff, but even your soul is saying, pull back on this one, honey. Go inside. 8 of Cups, not walk away, walk within. Which absolutely matches this, right? In your element of air, the seeing it deeper in and higher up. Your emotions saying, focus, 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 focus. Because you have the availability to do the Hermit. You might already be hermiting. I mean, how many of us aren't hermiting right now? And the card that they have in their soul position is the Virgo card. Something that is built or moves slowly but gradually. So it does feel like that their attempt, possibly because of physical logistics, I think you know what I mean, in this world right now, that they may want to come in gangbusters, but they have to take it slowly. That this is part of their healing too. That's the thing about a twin flame. As much as you can, I hate them, I hate them, I hate them, or they're horrible, they wounded me, they this, they that. As Carolyn May said, if you're in therapy for someone, someone's in therapy because of you, and that's just how it goes. I think that's true to an extent. But that you got to get that this is a contract, that you're not helping each other heal, you're teaching each other how to heal. So maybe as you're doing your own alchemy, for you to say, gone fishing for a little while, right? Out to lunch, closed for business, you know, not necessarily ghosting them, but if you're gonna take this time to alchemize, you can get that they gave you some really, really great lead so that you can turn it into gold, because you're gonna realize, meaning make real, the skill of the soul power of the alchemist inside of you. And I will just say for myself, forgiveness and unconditional love is all part of the process of spiritual alchemy, but it's not the versions that you were raised with, particularly forgiveness. Doesn't mean you offer them your neck. We're not talking Sookie Stackhouse here, although it ended well for her, I think. Werewolves of London. But an interesting dynamic going on here. I feel like the more space you got between the two of you, because they are going to try and make some kind of entree back in. Now, is there anything ultimately sexual romantic here? We'll see in the next 4 cards that come for sure, or iffy. But we've got the Lovers and the 3 of Cups here. That's the only thing that's drawing me here, but this could very easily be you and a family member, you and a codependent boss who's draining you, all sorts of different scenarios. So let's keep going. We are going to ask the Chuck Spezzano love pack, but only the suit of the problem. We are going to be looking at what is the problem here through, with, I should say, the guidance and grace of the Ascended Masters of Twin Flame Contracts specialists that they are. Breathe. There you are, my Ascended Masters. Please, yeah, 1 card in clarity, because I mean, I know I'm Libra and Venus, and I can maybe guess who this might be in my life if this is for me, but we'll talk after. So please, what is the problem here in this Libra collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign Twin Flame contract, July into August 2020? Or timeless, please. The problem is this card keeps coming up. This is like the 3rd time out of 7 reads. Fantasy. So there's some non-reality based thinking going on here. There's an imagination, a visualization that has superseded what's actually happening. So it's more what if instead of what is. Now here's the deal. This could be through a lens darkly, right? It doesn't have to be the sunny, bright, idealized so much as it can be demonized. It feels like neither one of you is seeing clearly right now. So I could see why they're saying, stay isolated a little bit more, keep doing your own inner work. I feel like the less you feed a vampire, the more they're either going to find another host. Is that the right word? I need to say victim and vampire, but that's the archetype of the victim. In other words, if you're not in victim mode, they can't bite you. It's what I call Teflon neck syndrome. TNS just slides right off, right? Chipped a tooth on my throat chakra. Thank you very much. Because throat chakra is choice. And if you, and this is a Matt Kahn mantra deck, only I have to feel good about my choices. You get it? Yeah, codependence that's unraveling codependency or codependence. So there's definitely some fantastic thinking here, and I don't mean fantastic, I mean of fantasy, where it could be they're seeing you as this idealized snack, meal, whatever, right? Yeah, and you might be seeing them as no, evil. And remember, vampires aren't evil, they're hurt. Right? Oh, right. Hurt people. Well, and drain people. Remember, no one is born a vampire. they're made a vampire. Even archetypally, even if you have the archetype from birth, someone has to vamp you first. Usually a family member. So that's how you heal a vampire, is by killing the vampire that sired them. But don't murder anybody. It means you have to... It means that there is forgiveness and healing there of the person, because it is a chain of pain going back ancestrally to who knows where it started. I mean, really, the metaphor of the vampire with the codependent is just fascinating, because the symbolism just keeps getting richer and richer and more detailed the deeper you go. Forever young, breathe. My angels, what is the healing angel? My angel and archangels, there you are. For this Libra collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, what is the healing angel assigned to this Libra collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, July, August 2020, or timeless, that whoever's watching this, the vampire or the Libra alchemist, can call upon for help? Answered prayer. So get that your prayer has already been answered. You just need an angel to kind of help you deal and cope until you know. Until it is, again, here's this word, realized instead of fantasized, realized. That this may all be an answer to a prayer in terms of your own healing. That they're going to try and make an entree back in. Now, I do believe that you can banish a vampire from your life, right? If they need your invitation to come in, you can rescind that vampire in true blood. You're not welcome in my house anymore. They fly out the house. God, I wish it was like that in real life. Except, you know, insurance claims and stuff like that. Particularly if you have a picket fence, that might be a little painful for them. They're deserving. It just does feel like you are getting the opportunity to get some real life wisdom out of this. It's going to make you a better mate of your own soul, protector of the innocence of your own heart, as well as a better soulmate. Yeah, I am sort of getting the romantic edge on this more and more as we go. But we have 2 more cards to go. Here in the center lane, we are going to ask the higher selves of all involved. Now, here's the thing. With the vampire archetype, chances are they're not going to be as in touch with their higher selves as you are. So I'm going to say that this is really, what's the word they're giving me? Here's an upper hand for you, in a way. Pay attention to this one. Breathe. The higher selves of all involved, possibly my own included. 5th dimensional and above higher selves of all involved, please, what is the whisper of love, the piece of information, inspiration, or insight that would be most helpful in this Libra collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame contract for July into August 2020, or timeless? What is the whisper of love you got for the Libras on this one? Embrace your emotions. Don't push down your feelings or judge your emotions, which is, I think, why you're pulling back. It feels like you might be very, very drawn. Now, do you remember, part of the vampire mystique is the ability to, well, in True Blood, they call it glamour somebody. Now, that's out now, control. But there is a fantasy aspect here. So there might be a part of you that very, very much wants them. And that's putting this in a romantic sexual context. If this is a family member, it might very, very well be that you love and hate them, we could use that word, because of the things that they have done or how they manipulate people. So to embrace your emotions, don't push down your feelings or judge your emotions, but by the same token, everything in your spread is saying pull back. This is inner child work. This is inner child work. It's allowing the child in you the freedom to hate without sending the text, without posting it on social media. It's the mind being the adult and allowing the heart to be the child. That the child of your heart is your innocence that has been written on it. It has every right to be angry and hurt and to hate. However, part of that detox process, the alchemy of it, is Whatever Arises, love that, a book by Matt Kahn, and he's the next card down, so I want to see what that is. And look, if this vampire were to really do the same, so let's say there's a cross-watcher who's watching this and like, oh my God, they have see, that's the thing about vampires, they can't see it. You can hold a mirror right up to them, like, I don't see what you're talking about, because they can't see them, they can't see their own reflections. Narcissistic. There are different flavors of narcissism, though, that can be in a vampire. They can be a passive narcissist. They can be a covert narcissist, a poor me narcissist. Read Celestine Prophecy, trust me. Or watch the video that I did. Both. Let's get your healing mantra. I've had enough of this. I just detest vampires. Because I was vampired. Talk about a twin flame contract. My father vampired me. Very young age. Was not sexual romantic. But he drained his sons, right? Because of codependency. It took me years. And even after he died, it still went on. So it really wasn't just because the person dies either. It's you really have to forgive. Wooden stake in the heart. Organic love right to the heart. I know, the symbolism's insane. Breathe. Or cut off their head. But that works for more than just vampires, I'll say. Wooden stake, the same. You know, they don't have to be a vampire. Wooden stake in the heart will pretty much get rid of anybody. It's a Terry Pratchett. Carpe Jugulum, best book ever. Seize the throat. Here we go. Yeah, this is why the gods give me this work, and the masters are like, you're funny. You are the spoonful of peanut butter fluff that makes the medicine go down. Breathe. Well, not peanut butter fluff. Maybe Nutella, a little bit more refined than peanut butter fluff, I hope, at this point. My ascended masters, please. I know I'm stalling. Please. One card in clarity for this Libra collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame contract. July into August 2020. Please, we need the perfect healing mantra here for this one, whether it's for the Alchemist or the vampire. July into August 2020 or timeless. What is the perfect healing mantra for this Libra collective twin flame contract? Healing heartbreak. My heart will love again. Which is really hard to do if there's a steak in it. Nice porterhouse, T-bone, just stick 'em. Steak-ums. Well, you had to grow up in the 70s, 80s, or 90s to get that joke if they still make them. Steak-ums. Just steak 'em. Oh my God. Hitting them with thin slices of beef. Healing heartbreak. Look, I'm not laughing at the heartbreak, but it's just so very symbolic. Particularly for my Alchemist here, you probably gave your best to this one. You probably really loved them, truly loved them. But, and again, whether it's family, whether it's romantic, whatever this is, you have to really tend your own heart. Because right now, if you let them near you, it's like going, hungry? Here, let me shave it for you. If you have to, I have to. I'm quarter Sicilian, I'm a hairy guy. But the rest is like Northern European, so it's blonde. You just can't tell. No. Keep them away from your femoral artery, too. Apparently, that's a big bleeder. So let me read you what's in the book here. Healing my heart will love again is the mantra. I have worked that mantra. Oh, have I worked this mantra. But this is going to help you alchemize this and really make you aware of the codependent stuff that you have been clearing out of your energy field, and for the well-being of all, the quantum field. My heart will love again. When heartbreak is healed, you are able to learn and grow from each relationship, no matter who you believe is to blame. In other words, it's usually both sides, right? But blame doesn't have to be a part of it. As heartbreak is seen as life's way of breaking your heart open to expand the love you are able to give and receive, it becomes easier to pick up the pieces of your innocence and invite greater intimacy into your life. And I would add to that, without the fear of getting drained. Or less probability of it, right? This card is ideal for dealing with resentment. It's in there. Like Prego, releasing the past and healing grief. Gotta say, pretty accurate. Pretty, actually, I'd say black and white because they're all color decks here. But let's do the larger picture and we'll see what else pops. All right, take a nice deep breath. Magic clap. Because, my darling Libra, you are the alchemist archetype, the shadow attribute, misuse of power and knowledge that comes through spiritual practice. So, you know, ritually cursing them. Like, it's okay to vent, but be careful of turning gold into lead, rather lead into gold, right? Allow the alchemy to happen more through the light attribute, transformation of base motives and goals into golden wisdom. And you have to acknowledge there's lead. You have to acknowledge that you're heartbroken. You have to acknowledge that you love them and hate them at the same time in order for that to come up and be healed, right? And that's that Nine of Blades there for sure, but we'll get there. Because what you want is Aphrodite here. You want to, at least in the most general positive sense, make a life-changing decision to move you forward and maybe away from this person. The decision to heal your heart no matter what. But I also kind of get that if there is a romantic spell here, based in fantasy, again, going to the top of the center lane there, that you might have some fantastical ideas about this person, lead or gold, positive or negative, that might be influencing that. So what is the card that the tarot says the gods say to help you with that? The fuel to help you get that decision made is the Hermit, to pull back deeper in, higher up, see it from a higher perspective. And what's in the position of the mind there? The Aquarius card, fixed air, the stratosphere, seeing things from the eagle-eye point of view and cutting away that which no longer serves, right? It is cold, but keep in mind, they also have, your twin has the Queen of Swords, the Aquarius card, in what they want. So they kind of want to see things from that place as well, one would suspect. But what you have going on in your field of water here, your emotions, is the Nine of Blades. And that's probably really going in deep and sort of feeling with focus what needs to be healed in terms of your emotions, right? Healing heartbreak, but there's also probably some rage, some pain, some grief in there, all calling to be alchemized. That all of these emotions in your cell tissue and in your energy field and in your chakras and all of that want to make their way back to source through you. So you are the alchemist here. But what's it going to take to do that from the point of view of the soul who agreed to this contract in the first place before incarnation? Withdrawal. The Eight of Cups. Go within. Walk away from this for a while. Deeper in and higher up. That's a paraphrase of the last book in the Chronicles of Narnia. Sorry, just flashed that into my head again. But now looking at your twin here, we've got the vampire archetype in the shadow, depleting dark shadows, depleting others for your psychic survival, right? So they deplete others for their psychic survival. Chronic complaining and codependency. So it's not even just like every now and again. It's like on the daily, like feeding, right? Like that's how they drain, through chronic complaining and codependency. Well, what it is they want is that Queen of Swords, maybe to go up a little bit more in their heads, to see this differently, maybe even to get the larger picture of things. Otherwise, I don't see why so much in the okay, so they want to come off cold and aloof and like they don't care, but we can see in their other cards they do. Or at least they want a new beginning here. And what they have here is really an emotional bond with you. Now, that emotional bond might not be thrilling you, hence the need to walk away and do your own internal alchemical healing. But do you understand, as you do that healing, it's going to affect them. It is like severing a lead cord, or at least alchemizing it into a gold cord. And remember, vampires cannot take love freely given. They can only steal it. And that's what I think is very interesting here on the level of air, right? In the mental body, we have the Fool here, really wanting a new beginning. And in terms of the contract, perhaps getting ready to dive back into you, my alchemist Libra. But with that King of Wands there's a very strong, here's the word they're giving me, and I don't use it that often, impetus, right? An impulse. Very, very strong. So if this is romantic, sexual, that's part of it. That is that wanting to just, I don't want to say ram, but that is the sign of Aries, right? They just want to jump into this, that they may very well have passion, and this person could be extremely seductive, but even their own soul is saying, slow your roll. Though you're feeling the King of Wands, we need you to be Knight of Pentacles, to take this slow and steady, right? That it's like there are beehives in the background of the card. You can't really see them. You need the deck to kind of understand the myth there. But beehives aren't made overnight, and nor is honey, right? The process of creating honey is a really, really, really long time from gathering to tapping the hive, as it were. He wants to tap your hive, or vice versa. But really slow your roll here, because there is a fantasy in play here. There is an illusion in play here. There is something here that is not accurate. You are either both of you or one of you is not seeing this situation clearly. That's why you're both being given, I feel like, that Queen of Swords vibration to pull up to the Aquarian to see the larger picture. Maybe from a friendlier place, like if you weren't lovers, and if you are friends and if you are family members, that might be a little bit easier to do unless this is parent-child. And the angel of the answered prayer, though you don't see it, your prayer has already been answered. You just haven't arrived to the point where you experienced the prayer being answered, but it's already there, and that's why you call upon that angel to say, okay, if every prayer is heard and every prayer is answered, please help me receive the benefit of this answered prayer, whatever it may be. And part of that, the higher self is saying, embrace your emotions. Don't push down your feelings or judge your emotions. Think of them as different children inside of you that want to be heard. So you've got, well, I hate to bring it down to the 7 dwarfs, but you've got happy, you've got grumpy, dopey. I always like dopey. At least you knew what to expect, right? Should let those emotions come up, and whatever arises, love that. Trust me, go read Matt Kahn's stuff, because even he's saying here through this card, healing heartbreak, my heart will love again, and your heart will love again, and your heart may even love again this vampire, right? Or the vampire that there can't, vampires can heal. People do heal from codependent patterning and chronic complaining. It was something that was done to them that on a soul level, they evolve the ability to what? Make them aware that someone or something is draining their life force, particularly if it's them. You catch on to that. You're like, oh my God, am I being a bore? Am I sucking the energy out of the room? Like, that's not self-consciousness. That's self-awareness, right? It's like, step away, vampire. And it feels like that's the overall guidance and grace here, regardless of how long you two have been separated from each other, even if it's friends, even if it's family, even if you're in the same house, but there is this wall and this space between the two of you. Do know that healing is available here, but you both got to heal your own heart separately first. And that's not an overnight process either, right? So to give that time and to give that grace and to give yourself and each other space, rhyming couplet, probably a good idea too. So may the Libra collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs be blessed with all that they need in their twin flame contract for July, August 2020 or timeless, that they may heal, that they may grow, that they may alchemize, that they may clear up codependent patterning here, seeing through the fantasy, seeing that the prayer has been answered, embracing their emotions and healing their heartbreak for their well-being, for the well-being of the contract, and for the well-being of all. So mote it be. And so it is. Thank you so much for watching, my Libras. Again, if you're new, please do consider liking, subscribing, hitting that notification bell, and commenting. Otherwise, wishing you the very best and the very blessed of the rest of July into August, or whenever you are watching this. My darlings, hail, farewell, and blessed, blessed be.